brothers and sisters, soldiers and soldierettes, salute. I thank those that have been riding along with the brother. Remember, you're going to hear me say this a lot. We are leaders and teachers. We are not followers with a student spirit. And thank you for coming in to another edition of EBX Discussion. I love doing this. As I said, upon a time that it's very intimate. And like I say, all I see is the mic to speak into the world. And so thankful. Though that's the good part of technology. You know, we pull the good things from it. And things like this is what make it appreciative and what makes it great. And it amplifies it when we draw. It amplifies good things when we draw good energy from within and then work our way out, which isn't an easy process, but it's beautiful when we get to this point, isn't it? Those who are very deeply self-aware. So let's get to those honors, shall we? I honor thy ancestors, the righteous ancestors who left a footprint and is in the spirit of many great brothers and sisters out here, as well as in our families. Because when we get to a certain state, we'll know who's who. And those who are evil or toxic or hate or anything that's out of balance, that great divine will deal with them. And that great divine will put it in our spirit when we need to step in and talk about something, and when we need to sit back and chill. We just let that great divine, Mother Nature, universe, do what it do. And I honor our families. May all of our families prosper and everything we touch turn to gold. And anyone in our families that we held dear, that meant something to us, may they rest in peace and in power. Always got to remember those, especially if they were righteous and meant something to us, and all of our families that are no longer with us. We're going to keep their spirits strong, and whatever they live for, we're going to continue that legacy, whatever legacy we got in our families, because everybody's family is different. Every melanated family has come through a different kind of conditioning, but a conditioning more or less. Different kinds, but it's like we all been through different things, especially melanated brothers and sisters, but almost the same thing, you know, if you see what I'm saying. And something that was in my spirit, and it's a lot of things going on in this world, and there's different parts to this walk, to this spiritual journey, this destiny, this mission that a lot of us are on in different ways. Something I like to say, those that are righteous and are real to the pit of our soul, we are all part of the same tree, just different branches. I say that from time to time, especially if we're righteous. Every part of a tree matters when it's righteous, whether it's the tree, the twigs, the leaves. Again, we are all part. Those that are real now, that are seeking righteousness and are for a revolution and the changing of the world, and not playing and not manipulating or playing any games, as I will talk about here in a minute. You know, again, we are all part of the same tree. Stop looking at different things. It's like my son said on the podcast, there's many ways to get to that truth, but it's got to be a divine way, a right way, not a manipulative way or a tricky way or undermining, anything like that. I don't care how hard it is. Being righteous is worth it when you get to that state in your mind, because it is a state of mind. And then it works its way out to your life. You know, again, one's not perfect. Just teaching what one has learned and has been through, experiences, karma, all that stuff. Like many of us out here, most of your most powerful reachers and teachers out here, brother or sister, and in our families, have been through the most. So that's why I always say that's why we shouldn't hate on anyone or have any jealous or malice, because we have to study thyself, and then we'll know everybody else, especially those we're connected to. You know, not the ones that's toxic or evil. I'm not talking about them. Fuck them. But those in our circle, whether far or near, always understand what they have been through in their lives. Because everyone that's reaching and teaching, the real ones now, that mean well, whatever walk we're on, remember, we're different. We all have been through something. So we just got to keep that in mind when we're in the world listening to someone or on the job, just in, in life in general. But, those who are speaking, because we have some real ones out there now. We got to keep that in mind. We know there are bad ones, but let's focus on the real ones. Remember, they have been, you never know what an individual has been through, whether brother or sister, especially when they're righteous. Talking about my melanated brothers and sisters. So I just wanted to throw that out there, and that's in our families, young or old. So just got to keep that in mind sometimes. And when you do that and you stick to that divine, real, to the pit of our soul, we will know who's who. We won't have to guess. So, because a lot of times when individuals aren't right, they'll reveal themselves. Even if they're working through an entity or they're attached to something else, it will reveal itself. Because when you have a heightened awareness, not too many things can get past you. And that's brother or sister, young or old, especially those that's been on this walk for a long time and really have invested in that wonderful thing we call righteousness. Because it's beautiful when you're actually living it, and it feels better when you say it, when you're actually living it. It's a beautiful thing. We get, like Malcolm X said, we got to take those thoughts and turn them into action. It's okay to get those thoughts and have desires and want to change the world. But at some point, that great divine is going to tell us to get up off our ass. And that's me too. So I just wanted to put that out there a little bit. I'm always going to encourage to lift your head, like Tupac said. Keep your head up no matter what. Stay in this righteous walk. It's the gift that will keep on giving. So let me get to what I wanted to talk about. I wanted to talk about hip hop. I love hip hop with a passion. Now, I've never been in a actual professional studio. I've never signed any contracts, never been in any major labels. Just kind of doing music and just kind of putting it out there, as well as my son that you will be hearing from, Lord Lamont. His name is Aaron, aka Lord Lamont. And we're going to get some things in the work. Sometimes life you have to deal with life sometimes, but we'll keep that in my spirit, and I will remind him, and I'm sure he'll remind me, and we'll have that music out there. But I wanted to speak on hip hop a little bit about how it's not a game. And just my opinion, I think we should stop calling it the game. And we're gonna break down that word game. And where did it come from? When do we start calling hip hop the game? Because like I've said before, to those who genuinely care about hip hop, brother or sister, I'm talking about really care, not exploiting it and using it. It's not a game to us. Hip hop is an art form. Hip hop is a way of life. And I've said this before, hip hop also means the word itself, HIP, high infinite power, HOP, helping our people. I think we need to keep that in our spirit. We need to get back to the originality. And as I heard a brother say on a podcast yesterday, where's the music? All that's out there in this media is gimmicks and people showing their lifestyle. We need that good, genuine music. Something that, I'm talking about real stuff. We could talk about the real things. I'm not saying don't talk about things that's going on in the hood. And, we do things like that, but not to exploit. As I said once before, not to defame people and degrade women and talk about drugs and killing and using that as a catalyst for attention, because it'll backfire on you because you're not spewing out real energy. Real energy means a lot. And some individuals, some now, is just not seeing that it does matter, the energy we put in our music, in our life in general. But we talking about hip hop. And like I said, I never been in no professional studios. It's a lot more that I could learn about hip hop. And I put a disclaimer out there. A lot of music that you hear me upload and maybe my son, Lord Lamont, it's not our beats. Just want to put that out there. But I do write my own lyrics. He write his own lyrics. But they are not my beats. And the beats are from Rap Fame, as I said before. It's an app. You can just go and, I'm just revealing how I get my music source and how I put my music out. It's through Rap Fame. It's an app you can put it on your phone. So I am in Rap Fame under the same name. It's under EBXCARES, which is also on Facebook. And but I abbreviated EBX. And So I just wanted to put that out there. They're not my beats, but my son and I, we are working on that. We're gonna start making our own beats, and because we're not trying to get paid or anything. I mean, if it comes along, that happens, but for him more so, because I want to pass that legacy on to him, because I haven't reached the level, but it's time for me to pass it on. That's what we have to do, especially when we get up in levels, because I'm past 50, but I love music, and I love it to the pit of the soul, but I do it for the love of it and to share it to others. But I'm gonna pass it on to my son. We want to change the world. We got to give that knowledge to our youth if they hungry and if they want to learn. So that'll be my son. And he can take my ideas, and maybe he can make it even better, and we aligned each other's ideas, and he's very intelligent, very smart. He actually knows more about computers and stuff than I do, because and thank the great divine that it put it in a lot of us to draw good things from social media. So what I draw, the good positive things I draw from social media, like YouTube, it helped me with computers. It made me more computer literate, but there's more things I can learn. It's still stuff I don't know, but that great divine has given me the spirit of that drive. When you have that drive, that determination, especially to reach people, and it becomes a passion and it becomes a part of you, you'll do whatever it takes by any means necessary. Thank you, Malcolm X. With the least amount of tools, because it's all about the heart anyway, right? And everybody has different creativities and different ways they're doing things, but like I say, when we're in a righteous circle, we'll know who the real ones. And I'm talking about even if those are in a high status, because you got real brothers and sisters in high status too. Because I have come across them. A lot of them I haven't met. They're online, but I know they're genuine and real. Time is the best teacher. Something I heard a brother say. So we'll know over time who the real ones are, whether it's high status or low status, because we got real brothers and sisters in both. Because like I said, I've met some, maybe not face to face, but maybe online, some face to face, but there's some in high status, low status. You just got to keep yourself in that space and stay away from the fake toxic shit. So all of that is attached to hip hop. All of what I just said, that's a part of hip hop. And it's a lot of things a lot of topics we can talk about, a lot of things that we can do to work toward that goal of changing the world, because that's my goal. It's not impossible to me. I'm just going to walk in the footsteps of that great divine and listen to what that spirit tells me. And remember, a righteous spirit, because I talked about recently how demons can also have a spirit. So make sure we stay with the right things of life, connect to that divine spirit. I just want to make that clear. So, and we need to carry this in our hip hop. And hip hop is not a game. I wish we would stop saying that, because we talk about energy, right? So the more we focus on the drama and the distractions of the artists that should be putting out music, I don't listen to it. If you're not putting out music, I'm not hearing none of the drama online. Nothing against those that are speaking on, because some things do need to be exposed and talked about. Because with those that love hip hop, we're gonna talk about it. So like I said, every road is different. I'm just placing my opinion, because I really do love hip hop. But like I said, a lot of music I do are not my beats. Just keeping it real. And salute to the beat makers, because they are the backbone of hip hop, and I don't think they get a lot of acknowledgement, because a lot of great artists wouldn't be where they are without the beat maker. And that's real talk, because it was a time when there wasn't no one rhyming. It was just the DJ. The hip hop, the artist is secondary to the beat maker. So let's not forget that. And just go back, do your research, go back in time before there were hip hop. There were just DJs. So we need to respect the beat maker. So that's why I put that disclaimer out there. And I truly do love hip hop. That's why I'm doing it in my 50s. It's something in me that great divine wants one to do. But it wants us, because it's a lot of, and it's something else I wanted to talk about. And Malcolm X said, be a realist. We have to be a realist, and we have to see the reasoning and the logic in things. And I'm saying that to say Why is it okay for a celebrity or a big star in their 50s to do music, but it's not okay for an ordinary brother, or I'll say, quotation marks, an ordinary brother like me that's not in the limelight? Now, when people hear my music, it's, oh, he too old. Why he still doing music? But it's okay for a celebrity, because you got a lot of them that are up in age and still rapping and performing and touring. So that's what I'm saying. That's where the problem lies. That's where we got to get away from. And that's why a lot of brothers and sisters that are artists and are real and are positive and talking about real shit get looked over, because like my son said, everybody's on this one accord and think things are supposed to be this one way. And again, look at some of these artists, not beating up on them. I'm just keeping, I see what everyone else, those that are self-aware, I see the same things they see. I just speak on it and teach on it in a different way. I mean, all we have to do is look abroad, is what I say a lot. Look at some of these artists. Look at their lives. What the hell, some of the things that are being exposed, and I talk in code, so you have to stay with me. I mean, I'm sure it's in the, you cannot see the things in the media about artists. So I'm saying that to say, what does any of the drama that we see a lot of these artists doing have to do with hip hop? I'll wait. What does it have to do with music or hip hop? As I heard, and I actually heard this from my brother that I listened to on a podcast last night. What does any of this shit have to do with hip hop? I'll tell you what it has to do. Same thing he said. Distraction, brothers and sisters. We need to get back to the music. And it's not a fucking game. Hip hop is an art form, a way of life, a verbal newspaper, like Bob Marley, even though he ain't hip hop. I said that before. But a verbal newspaper of the hood. Things that we can't catch on the news, that certain entities are not going to talk about. And that's why hip hop came into play, because we were able to express oneself. We didn't have to wait on no newspaper. We could just record it, put it on cassette tapes and pass it out to the neighborhood. That was the most beautiful, when that time occurred, that was the most beautiful thing that happened to a real artist. And then along came the game. And has it always been called the game? That's a question. I wonder if has it always been called the game. I don't think it has. I think when others seen that they could capitalize off of it, it became a game. And it's still ours. It's no one else's. Everybody else just capitalizes off of it. But it belongs to melanated brothers and sisters. So let's not forget that. Even though we have some now that gear on the wrong track, that get drawn in to that manipulation, to that money, to the jewels, to the glitz, the glamour. It's unfortunate that some give in to that, but they will have to pay that price. There's a consequence for every action, whether it's negative or positive, cause and effect. And that's the same type of law and principles that we need to have in our music, even if it's in our down times, our happy times. It doesn't matter. Everything, we treat hip hop like that great divine. We express it in many ways, however we're feeling, as long as it's what? Genuine and real and coming from the heart. I don't care if you're only reaching one person. As long as it's coming from the heart and it's through that great divine, it'll come back to you, because great things always come back. That's a promise, cause and effect. So let's keep that positive energy in our hip hop. We talk about the real shit, but make sure our underlying intent is to inspire the listener and to lift the listener, to motivate them to do great things in their lives, whatever it is. Remember, we all got different gifts, but I'm talking about hip hop right now. I love hip hop with a passion. And it's not a fucking game. Not to those who generally love it and will always carry it with us. Those that generally care. Those that got a passion for it, I mean, like, we get goosebumps. I'm talking about that real passion, not that pretend shit we see on the internet. I'm talking about those that, are not in the limelight, or are inside. Not just talking about me. I'm just talking about in general, because you have a lot of those like that. And you have some that maybe are getting a little exposure, but are real. Like I say, when you're in the right circle, you're in the right mind state, you'll know who's who. Because I got nothing against those that do get some exposure, and do have a big platform, because you do have some real brothers and sisters that have a big platform and that love hip hop, So I'm not talking about y'all. I'm talking about those that are using hip hop and calling it, even those that do care. Because we're so used to saying game, just like the Matrix. A lot of us didn't even know about the Matrix until the movie came out. Think about that. Before that movie came out, who said that word? That's what I'm saying. We got to be careful of things like that. They always throwing narratives and throwing things in there, and we, not all of us now, but a lot of us can't help it, because they and fuck with our minds so much. We get used to things like, the Matrix and the game. Hip hop is not a game. I say it again. It's an art form. It's a way of life, expression, verbal newspaper for the melanated brothers and sisters. So I just want to put emphasis on that. We got to stop giving that energy to that word, because it's not a game. And I want to break down the game and how it came into be and how it ended up in our psyche and have all us saying it. Because it's a game to them, brothers and sisters, not to us. And this is something I say, you hear me say a lot. The devil has no power, only has the power that we give it. That's how I think about that word game. Game is attached to baseball or basketball or football or sport. Hip hop is none of that. Hip hop is above that shit, if you ask me, because hip hop is universal all over the world. So no sport can compare to hip hop. So we're going to break down the game, a little summary I want to read. And this will be another meditative moment. And before I go in, thank those that have been with the brother. And I appreciate you, current subscribers, new subscribers. The Great Divine has a plan for you. Reachers and teachers I have learned from, whether in the world or online. I place that great protection from that Great Divine for us, our families, for ourselves, from ourselves, so we don't become our own worst enemy and fight the real enemy. So I just wanted to say that. All right, we're going to read this summary about the game. It's just a little small summary. Manipulate a situation typically in a way that is unfair or unscrupulous. And if the industry ain't unscrupulous, I don't know what is. It was very easy for a few big companies to game the system. Very easy. You know what I'm saying? And it shouldn't be easy. I want to read that one more time. Manipulate. Let's see, we talking about game. The definition. It was one definition, but we're going to read this one. Manipulate a situation typically in a way that is unfair or unscrupulous. It was very easy for a few big companies to game the system, thus labels. Yeah, very easy when we make it easy, But there are a lot of those out there like me, brother or sister, young or old. Remember, when we're in a righteous circle, we'll be connected to those type of individuals, but not to take, not to use, to stand with, to learn from, and then give that energy right back to them, even if it's silent. Remember, folks, we keep good energy even when we're by ourselves, even when we're not speaking, when we're in those moments when we're quiet and we're not talking, have good energy in there then too, because when we harbor good and great and wholesome things within our righteous spirit and nothing malice, that's what will come out. That's why it's very important to keep that good energy in, especially in hip hop, And I had to speak on it because this is something that's been in my spirit for a long time, always, because it just irks me when I hear, and it's other things I hear people say that it just, it's like a stab. It's like, a stab in the heart, I want us to stop saying gang. Remember how the word matrix came into play. As I said, before the movie, none of us even said that word. So and I'm just giving, like I said, suggestions, opinions, and advice. We got to stop hopping on these narratives that they're throwing out there. They're getting weak, brothers and sisters, if you pay attention. Getting weak. It's some powerful brothers and sisters out here. We just got to pay attention. And those who are artists, young or old, those who are trying to make music, don't let yourself become desperate. Just put your music out there. If you got someone you trust that's promoting you, that's cool. But be independent and just put it out there, and don't be, and just move with that divine, move with that force when you really feel it in your gut. Don't try to push things. I always say we push, but we don't. We don't push, but we don't give up. We have to let things happen. There's a time and place for everything. And I haven't said this in a while, but we're on divine time. Divine might not come when we're on divine time, when we're trying to put that music out there, or whatever purpose we're chasing, righteous purpose. We're talking about righteous things here, especially when it comes to music, because it will benefit you in the end. I don't know, why would you go into music? I don't understand it. It's just, going into good energy might not be easy because everybody listens to a certain kind of music, but so what? You stick to your guns. You put out what you want to put out. Remember, you own this. You have the authority over your music. And this brother or sister, young or old, you have the authority. Never give person, place, or thing authority over your craft. Think of the hard time, the hard moments, because making music sometimes is a process, even if it's a ghetto way or whatever. Because I'll admit I got a little ghetto way I do music, but it's a process. If you want to send out good music and you want it to be good, it's going to take some work putting into it, but it's worth it in the end, especially when you get results from other brothers and sisters and you're not looking for anything. You inspire them, other artists that might listen to your music, to say, hey, I can do this too. Put that spark in each other. That's what it's about, that righteous spark. All this old toxic music and that's attached to gimmicks and drama and social media, that shit's starting to die out. It's starting to die out. A lot of great artists are being born. And, it just, if you're not in that space, you won't see it. You have to be in that space. But they are out there, because I have listened to a lot of great artists. I listen to a lot of underground artists, and those that a lot of people don't listen to. Like I even say, I don't like to say names, but one artist I have to say is one of my favorite artists would be Tech-9, and I've been listening to Tech-9 for years. And Tech-9 is, I don't know how old he is, but I think he's, because I'm in my 50s, and I believe he's, well, not believe, but believe, because I don't know his age, but I believe he's in his 50s, and he's still killing that shit, killing it. One of the greatest artists of all time, as well as many underground, but that's just one name that comes to mind. Tech-9 has always been one of my favorite, all-time great artists. Just listen to that brother rhyme, and it comes from the soul. You can tell when you listen to his music. Very soulful, very creative, man, and he can change his style. He's dynamic when it comes to rhyming. So salute to Tech-9, and Tech-9 is a survivor, and he's one of those brothers. He can not rap for a while or not make a song and come back and make a song and boom, and be right back on, because that's that divine, because he's connected. Listening to some of his music, he's connected to that higher power, that greater force, Mother Nature, universe. He's connected, and I'm sure things try to pull him away along the way. A very strong, very spiritual, and far as I know, I've never heard no drama about him. So, and there's many others just like him, brother or sister, that has survived and up in age and hasn't been bit by that beast. So when we haven't been bit by that beast and we just sticking to that divine spirit and just want to put out that great music, not to taint the world or exploit or use it to get attention and all this fake shit that's unnecessary. When we're not like that, man, somehow, some way, that great divine keeps us relevant without even trying, because that's the most blissful thing about being genuine from the pit of the soul. No matter the storm we go through, those that are righteous, our legacy will always stand. And I'm talking in life in general, but especially hip hop. Like I said, Tech-9 is, I don't, like I said, I want to get his age wrong, but I'm sure he's around the same age as me. I'm in my 50s, but he's still killing that shit, and he can tear down a lot of artists. I got to keep it real. The brother's powerful. You just listen to him. You ain't gotta believe me. Go listen to the brother's music and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. So, and he got others in his camp that's just like him. You know what I'm saying? So that's just a few things I wanted to say about hip hop. I love it. And I want us to stop saying it's the game, because it's not a game. It's only a game to those who don't give a shit about it and using it, you know. And because most of the realest artists, you don't see them in the limelight as much. You know, Joes that generally care about music, they just putting it out there. They're just doing what they got to do, you know, and not desperately trying to reach, because it will reach people eventually. We have social media, so there's no need to be desperate. Just let that divine move through us. It'll move through us, and it'll come out through our music. And it's the gift that keeps on giving. Remember, high infinite power, helping our people. I've learned that from a great brother from probably about 15 years ago. I learned this from a brother, and he's still around, and he's not an artist, but he was in a rap group, and he's still relevant today because he connected to that divine spirit. You know, those that don't and bump shoulders with the devil and living a devilish life, just like I say, look at those who are the opposite of righteous, those who have fake shit within. Just look at their lives. I'm talking about social media, in the world. I'm talking about artists, those that hasn't connected to that divine and kept it in their music. You know, just look at their lives. You know, a great divine drawing a line right down the middle. If you have a heightened awareness, you'll be able to see who's real, who's not. So those who love hip hop, those who making music out there, stay with it. Don't give up. Don't get discouraged by the outside world. You know, that's going to happen. But we can change the world. Those of us that mean well about hip hop, and it's to the pit of the soul. We're going to take hip hop back, because it is not a game to us. So that's my thought. And thank those that came in to another edition of EBX Discussion. I just wanted to talk about hip hop a little bit. Hope you got something out of it. Don't think I know everything. We know what we know, but we be humble about the things we don't know. And like I said, my son and I will keep that hip hop energy going, good energy, whether it's down times, up times, sad times. I will make music through it all. Sometimes I express myself better through my music, because I'm myself when I speak, but I really let it go on my music. You go listen to some of my music, and yes, I be saying cuss words and all that, but I have a righteous agenda. There's no evil or bad intent behind it. Not trying to get paid, or like I said, because they're not my beats anyway. So it's just to uplift the listeners and inspire them to chase a goal in their life and motivate them to do great things in their life. And you'll hear it, you know. So just keep that divine confidence. My real like-minded artists out there, and you will come through, I promise. Because the great divine, Mother Nature, has a plan for individuals like that really care about hip-hop. And again, it's not a fucking game. So stay prosperous out there. Thank those that have been listening to me. And I'll continue to encourage and lift you. And salute to the reachers and teachers, the real like-minded reachers and teachers. Emphasis on real. I honor your family. I honor my family. I honor my children, their mothers, brothers and sisters. Keep that ultimate peace in your part of the world, wherever you are right now. And all my real like-minded that's connected to that righteous spirit, to that divine, not a demon spirit now. We're talking about a righteous spirit. Those who are connected and they know it and they feel it in the pit of their soul. Stay with it. Great divine has a plan for you. Stay up out there. Salute.